Okay, welcome to Sweden, to Stockholm. My name is Martin and you will learn all about photography on this channel. Today we'll take a look at tethering. You know, you take a shot and by magic they end up on your computer. That's a very good thing. I assume that many of you watching are doing this, of course. But I want to show how I do this today because I upgraded my camera. I went from DSLR to mirrorless. I realized I need to have some new cables because today we have USB Type-C in the cameras. And this old one, this cable, this is called something. What are they called? They go from the computer USB Type A to, I think it's called Micro B, USB Micro B, I think. The old way I did this, I just used a very cheap, very simple cable, you know, just from the guy around the corner, and it works well, and we can take a look. I need to connect this to the computer. You need three things really: camera, cable, computer. I assume that most of you have a camera and a computer, and then you just need to get the right cable. I upgraded a bit from my old very simple cable to something else, something red and nice, so you can see them on the floor so you don't trip over them. So let's take a look first at the old way. We can start with Lightroom because many have Lightroom and it works pretty well to shoot tethered into Lightroom. I used to do this, not nowadays, but it works kind of okay. So let's start this camera. This is the 5D Mark IV, my old camera. And I just connect the USB cable from the camera and into the computer. And then you just turn it on and hopefully the software will find the camera. Yes, Canon 5D Mark IV. First I should say that you go into File, Tethered Capture, and then you start. Now it says stop because I already started this. But you just start and you can name the files and where you want the images to land on your computer. So let's take a shot. We can take a shot. I already have a shot there, but I want to show you that it works. So let's start the flash. I have a flash over there. You don't see that one because it's high up in the ceiling, but it's just a flash. This is just for demonstration to show you. So it's one light source hitting this radio. So let's take a shot like that, and boom, there you have the image inside your computer. Fantastic. And the good thing about this is that you really can see if everything is okay. On a display it's very small. You know, on a big display, you can always zoom in and take a look. Did we hit the focus correctly and everything? And it's also good for when you're working with a client that they can see the picture big. And also the stylists, if you're working like me, working with a food stylist, they want to see the image big. So they have their screen. This screen is just quite simple 4K Dell monitor beaten up because I bring this on site when I'm shooting. So that is Lightroom, and you can hit this live button. It's a bit slow maybe, but it works. You can have live view, and that can be good when you are doing the composition of the image. And sometimes, you know, have it up in the ceiling, the camera very high up, and it's very good to have live view when you're doing these top-down shots and you want to set up the composition for the shot. Then it's a must-have to shoot like this. But there are other alternatives. Canon, and I think that all camera manufacturers have their own software for free. Canon has EOS Utility, and then you will get this, and then we pick remote shooting, and then we take a picture again like that, and by magic it ends up on the wrong screen. I will drag it onto this screen, and here it is. And I must say that EOS Utility is really a powerful tool, because you can change everything on the camera except the shooting mode. You have to dial it in here, manual, but you always shoot manual when you're shooting in studio normally. But you can change aperture, ISO, and everything. And you also have the live view function on EOS Utility. Live view again. You can do it like this. And there you have the live view. Very good. So this is totally free. A free alternative to Lightroom if you don't have Lightroom, or if you don't want to shoot in Lightroom. I found that the live view is a bit slow. Sometimes there's a bit of a hassle with Lightroom. So I actually prefer EOS Utility over Lightroom. But there is another option. Of course, there are many options actually. But today we will take a look at the industry standard Capture One. This is what I use when I shoot tethered, because this is a really powerful tool. Let's take another shot. And there we are. Capture One, that's the one I recommend, because that's the one I use, and that's the one that every pros are using out there, because it's like industry standard. I really never have any problem with Capture One. It always works. There we have my old setup with my old camera. So let's switch this camera off. Now we don't need this camera anymore, because nowadays I'm using the R5C, it's called R5C mirrorless. But before we go to this guy, I want to show you what I mainly use. This Canon system is more for this YouTube channel. When I shoot for clients, I do client work, I shoot with this beast, this old Hasselblad. And then there is another software, and that's called Focus. This is Focus software by Hasselblad. And that's what you're using if you own a Hasselblad camera. Really powerful software. And then I have a really old connector. This is, I think this is Firewire 800. And then you attach it to the camera, and then this cable goes into the computer. But Firewire 800, that was a while ago, and today we have USB Type-C, so I need to have like two adapters. Firewire 800 adapter to Thunderbolt, Thunderbolt to USB Type-C. It's a bit of a mess, but it actually works until they will break, because these Apple adapters, they break for some reason. So you have to buy a new one for a lot of money. So let's turn on this guy. There we are. Hasselblad H5D 50 megapixel multi-shot camera. Yes, we can take a shot. And we need to have a pocket wizard so we can trigger the flash. And let's see, let's take a shot. There we are. You might wonder why I'm still using this old system when I have this new camera. Well, if you compare the image quality with this old Hasselblad and this completely new mirrorless Canon, you cannot compare, you know. Everything is better. This can handle gradients like crazy, you know. It's still today, even though it's so old, I never experienced any better camera than this one, the old Hasselblad. The colors and the sharpness, because it's a multi-shot camera, it shoots separate shots and put them together inside the software. You know, that's what I'm using when I'm shooting for clients. I shoot Hasselblad and I'm shooting into focus. But sometimes I use this guy when the budget is low. So now we have Canon R5C, and I realized that I need to have new cables to shoot into the computer, and I need to have really good USB Type-C. I thought that I should get something good, so I did some research to see what people think is the best. I've been using this very cheap cable. It works. I also been using some other brands, some orange cables, but I had so much problem with those, so I just throw them away, and I went to this cheap one instead, and that worked better for me. Not perfect, but it's okay. But now I felt I want to have a good cable. What should I go for? Well, I went for Area 51. And we can take a look. Here we have Area 51. And I've been using these cables for a while now, and I must say, flawless. I mean, everything works absolutely fantastic. And they are so well built. The quality is absolutely fantastic, I must say. I have a shorter one. I think this is 15 feet. And then I also have a longer one. I think it's 31 feet. When I need to have, if it goes up to the ceiling with the camera, you need to have longer cable. And also, I always bring an extra for backup if this should break for some reason. So this is Area 51. That's what I'm using. And for you Swedes, I always get my stuff from Göcker store here in Stockholm. This is not a sponsored thing at all, but this is my favorite store. This is where I get all my photography equipment, all from this Hasselblad camera down to lenses, cables, pro photo flashes and everything. So if you don't want to order directly from the website Area 51, then you can get them here at Göcker Area 51. Many different variations. Okay, let's do a final shot of this nice pink radio with the Area 51 cables. So let's start capture 1, and then we will take the USB Type-C into the computer, and the other end goes into the camera. And now we turn on the camera, and hopefully the camera will show up. Yes, boom, connected. That's absolutely fantastic. And I must say, when I'm using this old USB cable and you switch to USB-C, I mean, let's take a shot. It goes so fast. Boom. You see how fast that goes? I mean, click. I'm really happy with my research finding these cables. So there we are, a pink radio with a razor sharp shadow edge. Must be the sun. Or if you have any questions around this, just type in the comments. I always answer all comments, as always. And thanks for subscribing. If you're not a subscriber, please please subscribe down here somewhere. And if you'd like to join this channel, supporting this channel, become a coffee supporter, you can click the join button. Thanks a lot, all the coffee supporters hanging in there. Thanks a million. So remember, as always, I will see you next time.